right, hello, hello. How is everyone today? Welcome in. I know we're a little later than usual, but we were over on TikTok doing some fun nails over there. So you guys make sure if you don't get the notifications for us on TikTok, make sure you do. Make sure you join our community over there. Make sure you're getting all of the notifications when we do go live, because you guys, there's so much fun stuff that we have to share with you. So make sure that you are subscribed to all of the things, and we'll get started here in just a second. I'm getting my nails ready to go. Let's see. Kelly Walker, were you over on TikTok? How many of you guys were just over on TikTok with us? Let me know. I wanna see who was all in the chat over on TikTok. Let me know if you guys were with us there. Oops. We'll get started here in just a second. You guys, I didn't get a chance to post up on our Discord what we were going to be using today, and it was kind of a last minute design. So we're kind of winging it today, but I've got some beautiful colors that we're going to be working with. You guys, a lot of different things that I'm going to be using from our gel mystery box today. So you guys, if you haven't gotten that gel mystery box, I'm gonna tell you, you probably want it, but all right. So you guys, today we're going to be working with a couple of our cream clays. We've got, let's see, we've got Gilded Glow, which is that beautiful gold. Let me come in a little closer. There we go. So beautiful glow, Gilded Glow gold, Gilded Glow. Yes. And we're also going to be using bronze Jasper, which you guys, to me, this one looks like hot chocolate or like a mocha. So absolutely beautiful color there. We're going to kind of mix in. And we're also going to be using Sterling Shine, which is the silver. So you guys, actually, I haven't really put these three colors together before. So like I said, we're going to kind of wing it today. We're going to play around with these colors and see how those turn out. We're also going to be using a few different glitters here. We've got, let's see, what do we got? We've got Wedding Rumors. We've got Numero Uno. And we've also got Call It Fashion. So all three of these glitters, they're completely different in how they look, but they all have a similar kind of, or not orange, gold kind of a glow to them. Now I know you can't really see in this one here, but it does have a little bit of that kind of gold glow to it. So yes, those are going to be the three colors or three glitters that we're going to be using. We're going to throw those in with our cream clays. Again, you guys, the cream clays come in the mystery box. You guys want to see the other colors of the cream clays? There's three other colors. I'll just show you here really quick in case you're wondering. Somebody's asking, when is the acrylic mystery box coming back? You guys, unfortunately, the mystery boxes are they are a one and done. They're a limited edition. So if they are sold out, which the acrylic boxes are, they are not coming back into stock. So I'm giving you guys the heads up. I'm giving you the warning right now. If you do want these cream clays, if you want that gel mystery box, shop early. Well, you didn't shop early, but shop soon, and that way you can get it. But once it is sold out, it is going to be sold out. So let's see, this one is Radiant Orchid. So it's kind of that purpley, fuchsia-y. It looks more brown in the jar, but it definitely has a little bit more of that purple tone to it. So that is one of those colors. We've got Enchanted Indigo. I absolutely love this one. I think this is so pretty. That deep, deep kind of oceany blue. And then you guys, it's a kind of a strange favorite of mine, because normally pinks are not really my favorite colors. I don't, pink isn't really my go-to. I know I have a little pink on here, but it's not really my go-to color, but I am absolutely loving this color. You know what? Maybe we're going to throw this in today. Let's see. This one is Petal Pearl. I might just throw this in just for I don't know what, but just for the heck of it. So we are going to throw those colors in today into our nail. We're going to be working with gel today. So we got our hard gel system here. So let's go ahead and jump in. So let's start with pushing back our cuticles. So we're going to prep our nails just like we always do. Push back those cuticles, get those cleaned up, even on, yes, Lori Marie, even on the trainer hand. Always go through and push back those cuticles, or at least simulate pushing back those cuticles, so you stay in the habit of doing that. You don't ever want to forget to do that on your client, okay? we're going to come in with our sanding band. And you guys, I just used this sanding band on our last demo, so it's not been used a whole lot. So normally I would change that out, but it hasn't been used very much. But you guys, if you are working on real clients, make sure that you are changing this out for every single client. It is not sanitizable and disinfectable, so you want to make sure that you're using a clean, fresh one for every client, okay? All right, we're going to turn our E-file on to 5,000 RPMs. I always say low and slow to work right up around that cuticle area. When we come around that cuticle area, you're just going to work in kind of short little strokes. You're not trying to come all the way through in one motion, just short little strokes all the way through. And then you're going to end at kind of a diagonal. So your bit is going to be at a diagonal kind of from that top left corner down to the bottom right. Stay in that diagonal position. And then you're just going to work in kind of a feathering motion all the way through to the end of that nail, just kind of feathering that bit, making sure that you get all of that last little bit of shine off the nail. And for beginners, I always say slow it down. So if you're not comfortable with kind of that feathering motion, slow the hand motion down. So come across and pick up your bit, come across, pick up your bit, come across. So that way you're going to be able to start to kind of get that motion in, and you're going to start to feel what that feels like. Once you get a little bit more practice, you're going to be able to work a little bit faster and get that whole nail done nice and quick, okay? All right, so that is going to be our prep. Now, the purpose of going through and removing the shine like we did is to really break up the oils in the surface of the nail and give that nail just a slight texture. Okay, so we're going to go through, we're going to dust off all of that dust from the nail, and then we're going to cleanse the nail. Now, we did break up the oils in the nail, but we're going to use our swipe, and this is what's going to really help to pull all of those extra oils off the nail. So we're going to pump a little bit of that onto our manicure brush. We're going to go through, we're going to brush through that nail, cleansing all of that dust off of there, all of the germs, all of the bacteria. And you guys, don't just give it a quick little once over. Get in there and give it a good scrub, okay? Now you don't have to sit there for, 5 minutes or anything, but give it more than just a quick little, more than that, okay? Couple of swipes through there to really get that nail cleaned off, okay? Hello to everyone in the chat. Nice to see the familiar names. Welcome, welcome. All right, after we've got that nail cleansed, we've got the germs removed, the bacteria removed, the dust removed, all those icky things that we don't want on the nail removed, we're going to come in with our protein bond. And protein bond is our bonder. It's going to work, I always tell you this, it works like a double-sided tape or kind of like an anchor. So this is what's really going to help to bond our product to the nail. Now I want to make sure that I'm not flooding product onto the nail, so I'm going to just lift out my brush, tap out some of that extra, okay? So that way it's not going to flood into the cuticle area, it's not going to over protein bond the nail, okay? We're going to start right in the center, and I always work from the center out to the sides, so again, we aren't flooding that product into the cuticle area. Just up right around that cuticle. Anytime I'm working on a full set of either acrylics or hard gels, I always go through and do 2 coats of protein bond. This way we know that we've got really good adhesion, we've got good coverage on that whole nail, and we're going to have a really good, strong, sturdy nail, okay? All right, let's grab our forms. Come back out here. All right, you guys, so on my last stream on TikTok, we did an almondetto. What shape do you guys want to see? Do you want to see an almondetto? Do you want to see coffin shape? Do you want to see, what do you want to see? Square shape? You tell me. Let me know in the chat, and I'll kind of try to keep an eye on that. But let's get our form on. I'm going to take that little tab out of the center. We're going to place that right on the back. This is going to give our form a little bit more durability. So it's going to feel a little bit more firm rather than kind of flimsy, okay? So as we're doing our form, we're going to take that form. All right, you guys, I'm seeing lots of different square, coffin, extreme stiletto, square, tapered square. Okay, you guys, it's all the different ones. I'll decide when we get there. All right, so we're going to pinch these 2 little silver tabs together nice and evenly. Get those together as even as you can possibly get them. If they end up lopsided, there's a good chance that your nail is going to end up lopsided. Okay, so make sure that you're pinching those tabs together so that you don't see a whole lot of overlap from one nail to the other. Okay, now I just out of habit pinched my form together all the way at the end. So we're going to do either a coffin shape or an almond or an almondetto or a stiletto, just because that's how I pinched my form. Now, if you were going to be doing a square shape nail, you would want to make sure that you leave that end open. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm seeing a lot of coffin, almond, and stilettos. So those are the three that we're going in between. So you guys, if you're going to be doing a square nail, pinch those two little tabs together, but leave that end open, okay? So I want you guys to see the difference between working with a form that you would use for a square nail. With a square nail, you're going to have more of a tube shape to your form, again, open at the end. With more of a coffin or a stiletto or an almond shape, your form is actually going to be that shape. Okay, so just depending on what kind of shape you're doing, that's how you're going to start your form. So, you know what, you guys? I don't do a lot of. All right, I'm going to stick with what you guys are showing in the chat. So let's do a coffin. Let's do a coffin. Because I know I do almond a lot, so let's change it up a little bit today. All right, so we're going to open up that perforation at the top. Open that up. We're going to come in from a slight downward angle. We're going to catch that form right up underneath the free edge. I'm not just going to come straight in and shove that form up underneath there. I'm going to just catch that natural nail, lift up on the end of my form. Okay, you guys, I want you to see what this really looks like. So I'm going to hold the nail from the side so that you can see exactly what's happening. So again, we're going to catch that form. Sorry guys, trying to do this. There we go. Catch that form up under that free edge, and you're just going to lift up and rock that form back. And that's how your form is going to come flush up underneath that natural nail, and it's not going to leave any gaps underneath. Okay, so let me just tuck that on the side. Okay, you guys, that form is way crooked. You want to make sure that your form is nice and straight so that that bold line, you see that bold line right down the center of the form? You want that bold line straight in line with the finger. You guys, I always like to show this because a lot of times we just look at that nail. So when we're putting a form on, we just tend to look at that nail, and then we wonder why our nails are crooked. You want to make sure that you're lining that form up not with the nail, but all the way with that finger. So all the way through the whole length of the finger, you want that form to come straight out from there. So I'm going to just readjust this form. Shift that over to the right a little bit. Make sure that that form and that bold line down the center of our form is coming straight in line with the finger, okay? So that is how we want to make sure. And you guys, one other quick trick to check to make sure that the nails are straight, turn your client's hand around. Turn her hand around. Once you get all of those forms on, let me rock that back up there. So turn that client's hand around and look at all of the nails from this direction, okay? If you're going to look at them from this direction, you're going to be able to see, are all four of these straight in line with each other, okay? Because there are some fingers that are going to be crooked. There are some nails that are going to be crooked. So if you are able to adjust your forms so that they're all coming out straight from this view, you know that all of those nails are going to look nice and straight once you sculpt them on. Okay, so just a quick little tip there on getting your nails nice and straight. All right, let's go ahead and start sculpting. Now, because we're doing a coffin shape, I'm really going to make sure that this form is nice and pinched so that I get that really nice tight C-curve all the way through that nail. Okay, now, when you're doing a coffin shape or a stiletto shape, you're basically going to be sculpting the same way. So don't worry if the nail's going to probably look like a little bit of a stiletto. I'm going to actually straighten it out at the end with my electric file. But let's get my brush here. And you guys, I've got my jeweled out, blinged out Pro Gel Sculptor number 5. And this comes 2 pieces there. If you didn't see that quick little motion, it comes with 2 pieces. It's got the brush cap with that bling on there. We all love the bling. So it's got that brush cap, and that pops onto the back, so that's the handle of your brush. So it's good little two-piece to keep your brush clean and beautiful handle. All right, so I've got my ceramic tile here. You saw I was just kind of cleaning out a little bit of glitter that was left in my brush from the last time. So I just used that ceramic tile to kind of clean my brush out. Okay, we're going to start with our clear sculptor. Now you can use either clear sculptor in the tube, you can use the clear sculptor in the pot. The one in the pot is a little bit thicker, so it's just a slightly different technique of applying it. You technically can use the base gel or really any of the other gels to do your extension, but you guys, I prefer the little bit thicker gel. So that's why I like to use the clear sculptor. I feel like with this, it doesn't run and move a whole lot. Same thing if you're using the clear sculptor from the pot. That is a very non-self-leveling gel, so that really kind of stays where you put it. But when you're creating those free edges, I do like the thicker consistency gels, because this way, again, I'm not going to feel like I'm chasing after it. What I'm doing right now is just kind of moving that product. So I squeezed out a little bit of that product right in the center, and then I kind of moved it from side to side, connecting all the way up to that natural nail, and then just kind of feathering that down, and we'll just kind of feather that down the length of our nail. So just using that applicator nozzle, just kind of guiding that into place. I'm not even using my brush at this point. Okay, and again, you guys, I know we're doing a coffin shape, but I always do my final shaping of my coffin at the end with my electric file. I don't necessarily spend the time to straighten out that free edge. I don't need to. For me, it's faster and easier to do that with my electric file. But what I will do is I will clean up my sidewalls. So I'm going to just work with the edge of my brush. I'm going to kind of press that down onto the form and just draw that sidewall back up into the corner. So you can kind of see right where the edge of my gel is. So I'm just really trying to create a nice straight lower arch, and so that there's nothing really kind of hanging down. Okay, we're going to do that same thing on the other side. And you guys, this is why I say I like to use a thicker gel when I'm sculpting out my free edges. I did say that you can use base to sculpt your free edge, but base is a much thinner gel, and this is going to kind of run. So the bases would kind of run as you're working like this. It may start to flow off to the other side, and you may feel like you're going to kind of have to chase it and kind of go back and forth. When you're working with the clear sculptor, it's going to be a little bit thicker, and it's going to stay a little bit more where you put it, so you don't have to feel quite so rushed. Okay, we're going to get this into the light, and let me show you guys what I've got. So I've got our blinged out light over on the side here. I've got my timer on this one set for 30 seconds. So this is just going to cure in the light for a quick 30-second freeze. Normally, if you're working on a full set, you would have one hand in the light while you're working on the other. So you're not really wasting any time or anything like that. So in the meantime, let me grab our base gel. So base is what we're always going to apply to that natural nail area. Base is designed to have more resins to it, which means it's going to have a better bond to that natural nail. If you guys skip base, there's a chance that you may have issues with your product lifting. Okay, so make sure that you never skip that layer of base on the nail. And I think I actually had that set for 60 seconds on that side, so that was going a little longer than it needed to. But all we really need to do was freeze that for 30 seconds, and it's set enough to where we can move on. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick up a little bit of our base. And you guys, with the base, all I'm going to do is just kind of drag my brush across the surface of it. I don't know if you were able to see that. So I'm just going to drag my brush across the surface of it, pick it up, and just kind of tap off that little bit of string that's kind of hanging there. And I really don't need a whole lot. So you guys see, there's just a tiny little bit on there. All we're going to do is we're going to use this. We're going to press that down onto the nail, blend that down onto the nail. At this point, I'm not trying to create thickness. I'm not trying to build structure. All I'm trying to do is kind of put in a foundation layer. So everything that I put on top of this layer is going to adhere really well. Okay, and you kind of notice I do use a little bit of pressure with my brush. Get that brush to kind of push all of that gel down into those little nooks and crannies of the nail. Now, do you want to push so hard that you wipe all of your gel off? No, but you don't want to be floating like you would with your building gels. Okay, so I'm going to add just a little bit more gel now that I wiped it all off. Okay, so again, just kind of a little bit of pressure with that brush, brushing all the way through. Now, something that I do like to do is if you take a look at the nail from the side, you can see that there's a little bit of a drop down right through here. I always like to go back with just a little bit more of my base and just kind of drizzle just a little bit of that gel right through that connection area. And this is going to do two things. It's going to seal that nail so that the natural nail has a really good bond to that free edge, but then it also kind of fills in that little drop down. So I've got a little bit more of a smooth transition from that natural nail onto the free edge. Okay, we're going to get this one back into the light again for another 30-second freeze. I'm actually going to set my 30-second timer on that. And then, let's see, you guys, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Oh, yeah, we're going to work with our cream clays. I almost forgot what our plan was. So again, we've got our cream clays. I'm going to open all of those up, and we'll see. Because you guys, I know, I just kind of threw this one in at the last minute, so we'll see how this works out. Kind of grab our colors. So we've got that silver, we've got the gold, we've got the pink, we've got the mocha. What do you guys think? I think that's going to be a fun combination. So let's see what happens here. So when we take that nail out of the light, our extension is cured out. We're just going to pinch that form together underneath, release that from the product, and then we'll just kind of pull down and remove that form. You guys, I'm going to take a quick look here. Looks like my extension is pretty straight on the side. So again, when I was using my brush along those edges, pulling that product back, that's how I was really straightening out that lower arch. But here's the thing. If you got a little bit of product hanging down and you want to clip that off and get rid of that, make your life a little easier, grab a straight edge toenail clipper. You guys, a straight edge, not the rounded. So make sure that you're using the straight edge. The rounded is going to put a little too much pressure onto that nail at the wrong angle. So use your straight edge toenail clipper, and you can come in and trim off any little bits that may be hanging, anything right there at the end. Again, you guys, I know we're doing a coffin shape and it looks like a stiletto, but we're going to fix that. Okay, I don't have anything really on that other side. You can also use a nipper, but you guys, if you use a nipper, I actually like the nipper for kind of right up close onto that edge there. I can't always get my toenail clipper up there, but if you do use a nipper, make sure that you're using one that you just use to clip your product. Don't use one that you're going to use on cuticles, because it can actually start to dull your nipper when you're clipping the product. So have a separate one for cuticles and a separate one for clipping your product. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm cleaning out my brush here because there's a little bit of glitter stuck in there from my last application. So I just have a little bit of that base gel. Let me come back out. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that base gel, and I'm just going to use that base to clean out my brush. And you can use either base or really any clear gel, but just use that little bit of base, kind of run your brush through that, and that's going to help to clean out. If you had other color in there, you can start to see there's little pieces of glitter that are starting to come out. But that's going to help to clean out your brush and pull out any of that extra color or glitter from your brush, okay? All right, let me grab a wipe. I'm just going to kind of wipe out any of that extra and any last little bits of those little rogue glitters or anything there. Okay, let's grab, oops, I just stuck my finger into the pink. Don't do that, you guys. Okay, so let's grab our colors again, and we're just going to start to kind of, I don't know, we're gonna just see what happens with this one, you guys. Like I said, this one wasn't too planned out today, so I'm just going to take a little bit of, and actually I'm going to grab my other brush. Usually when I work with the cream clays, I like to work with that dual-ended brush and spatula. I like this brush because it's a little bit of a different shape. Let me clean this one out really quick too. A little bit different shape than just the sculpting brush. So let me show you guys here really quick. Tuck that back together. So our sculpting brush, you can see, is a little bit longer, and it's just a hair narrower. Narrower? More narrow? You guys know what I mean. So if we were to hold one on top of the other, you're going to notice that, you can't see on camera, but the dual-ended brush is a little bit shorter, and it's a little bit, just a hair wider. So that's why I like to use this one when I'm working with the cream clays, because the cream clays are a little bit of a thicker consistency, and I feel like I get the better pressure with that shorter kind of squatty brush. So we're just going to start to kind of dab on a little bit of those colors. Now you guys notice, let me come in a little closer here. Notice when I apply these, I do apply it and I kind of dab, but it's kind of going a little bit thicker in some areas and a little bit thinner in some areas. And I actually really like how that's looking. So you guys, you know what? I'm gonna grab my little touch cure light here because I actually want to set that into place. So I'm going to grab, you guys, if you haven't seen it, again, this is in our gel mystery box, but this is our touch cure light. You can take it out of that handle, so you can use it just by itself here. It doesn't still have to be in that stand. Now make sure if you're using this light, make sure that your other gels aren't going to cure. Make sure your mixing tile is away. But I'm just going to turn this on, and I'm going to set that gel into place just because I was really liking how that design kind of looked. And I didn't want to smudge that up. So I'm just going to cure this just for a few seconds here. You can see there's a little timer on the light, but I'm just going to kind of set that into place so it doesn't move. I'm just going to tap the end of that. That's going to turn off my light. And then we can add a little bit more color. So let's see what else we want to add into this. So we've got that silver, we've got that gold, we've got that mocha. Let's grab a little bit of that mocha. I'll just kind of tap that in. And again, you guys, no real rhyme or reason to where I'm placing this. Just kind of setting it where I think it's going to look good. And you guys, sometimes as you're working, it looks kind of odd, but once you get kind of those colors together, they're going to look really pretty. Oh, I'm liking that. What do you guys think? Like it so far? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? What color should I use next? Let me know that. I want to know what you think. Should I use the silver or should I add gold next? Let's see, just kind of tapping in a little bit there. Again, I think I'm going to set this back into place because again, I'm kind of liking how that is looking. So you're just using that touch cure just to kind of set that down in there. You guys, I'm not trying to do a full cure with this. This is just kind of setting it right down in there. And then it's not going to move. We'll do a full cure at the very end. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm seeing silvers and seeing golds. So we're going to use them both. We're just going to grab whichever. All right, the gold was closer. So let's add a little bit of gold right up in between here. Maybe a little bit right in between there. And maybe a little bit down here. And then we'll grab our silver. Again, take a little scoop of the silver. I'll add that silver right up top. All right, you guys, I think I really like how this is looking. Grab a little bit more silver. And you guys, I'm really not using a whole lot of brain power for this. Just kind of dabbing that on wherever kind of my brain is telling me I need color, okay? So don't overthink it. I think that's something that I tend to do is I overthink my designs. And sometimes the best designs just come out when I'm just kind of throwing stuff together. Now, you guys, I am gonna grab this is my striper brush. This is my liner brush. Don't touch that with your fingers, you guys. Don't be a naughty nail tech. I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna use a little bit more of that brown to get right up to that cuticle area. So you guys, when I'm working in the cuticle area, sometimes it helps to just have that really teeny tiny brush to get right up in there so that I don't get that product on the skin. I don't get any where it shouldn't be. And we'll just kind of dab that right in there. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little more right over here. And you guys, if you do accidentally get any on the skin, make sure you grab your orange wood stick, clean that off right away so that's not sitting on the client's skin. And especially make sure you clean that off before you cure that nail. All right, you guys, what do we think? Do we think we need, I don't know, I think I need just maybe a little more pink right up through here. And then I think we're going to cure that. What do you guys think? Think we like that? I think I'm liking that. I think I like that. Okay, so let me get this into the light. Again, I could use my flash or my touch cure light, so let's go ahead and grab that. Might as well. It's out on the table. Again, we're just going to kind of set that down into place so that we're not doing a full cure. We're just kind of moving that light all the way around, just so the light hits it for a few seconds and kind of just solidifies it so it's not going to move when we do our next layer. Okay, nice and quick and easy. All right, you guys, let's add some more sparkle, shall we? Of course we shall. So I did have 3 different glitters out here. I had, what do we have? Wedding Rumors, we have Numero Uno, and then we also had Call It Fashion. But you guys, I gotta see what I wanna do here because I'm not sure if I wanna add all 3 in there. We'll see. I'm gonna take just a little bit of that finer glitter. So this one I believe was Numero Uno. You guys, I have a hard time remembering what all these glitters are called, so don't call me out on that. But I'm gonna grab one of my, just my frayed out art brush. And you guys, I love this brush because it is frayed out. It's used and abused. I think this one actually got gel cured into it. So it's a good use of your old brushes. Just gonna take a little bit of that glitter. I'm just going to kind of tap that into that tacky surface. Now, this isn't going to add a ton of color or anything. It's just going to add a little bit more sparkle into a few areas. So again, just kind of tapping that in, just adding a little bit of sparkle. So I think I like that. Once more, I'm going to use that touch cure light. You've got to use the right end of it, you guys. Use that touch cure light. And even though we didn't have a layer of gel on there, there is still kind of that tacky surface to those gels. So they're not completely cured, so there is a little bit of tack to them. So that little bit of glitter is going to stick right to that tacky surface. Now, when I'm putting in chunkier glitters, that I do want to add a layer of glitter, or another layer of gel. So I'm going to go back to my base gel. And somebody's asking, no top coat. You guys, we're not quite done building the nail yet. So we actually, if we take a look at this from the side, you can see that I don't have any structure to this nail. All of this color is going to be in the nail. So we're not doing top coat until we finish building the structure, but we're going to add a little bit more, excuse me guys, a little bit more color to our nail inside. I got to find my brush. Where did I lose my brush? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we're going to grab that base gel again. So we're going to pick up a little bit more of that base. We're going to just kind of create a thin, sticky layer. So we're not really trying to, again, build up any structure. We're just adding a little bit of sticky. And I think I'm going to grab, I think I'm just going to use the Wedding Rumors. I think that's going to be really pretty on this one. I don't think I want to use that other chunky glitter that I had earlier. But same brush, that little art brush, I'm just going to use that. Grab a few pieces of that Mylar. And again, just kind of set those down wherever you feel like you need a little more shine. And I think I'm kind of going to focus these on those silver areas. Ooh, I like that. I like how that's looking. So just kind of setting that down into that wet, uncured gel, giving us kind of that accent, maybe a little bit right over into the side here. And then maybe just a little bit more right in there. So you guys, I'm not going to cover this whole nail in the Mylar or the glitter. I just want little accent areas, which is exactly what we have here. You guys, oh, I'm loving this. I'm absolutely loving this. Okay, we are going to set this one into place again for another just quick freeze with our touch cure light. You guys, let me back out so you guys can actually see what's happening here. So again, this is our touch cure light. We're just kind of working around that nail, just letting that light hit that gel, kind of freeze it into place. Again, I'm not doing a full cure. I'm not doing this, you know, for 30 seconds or anything, maybe 10, maybe 15 seconds, but just enough to kind of set that product into place. Okay. And you guys, just so you kind of know what I'm doing, anytime I tap the kind of that top part of the light, that's how you turn the light on and off as you're working. It does have the on off for basically the power up top here. So if you hold that down, that's going to turn the power off, and then press it, it's going to come back on. But again, it's a touch cure light. So you can use your finger as you're working to kind of tap that, turn that on, cure it, tap that, turn it off. Okay, so it's a nice, easy little tool to use. I kind of have started really using it a lot more with my gels and my encapsulation. So it works really nice and easy. Okay, speaking of encapsulation, let's go ahead and encapsulate this design because I think I've got what I want in that nail. I think I really like how that color is looking. So we're going to go in with our Build Pink. And the Build Pink is a clear, but it has a light pink to it. So light pink tint to it. So just a tiny little bit of extra color. And I really like using the Build Pink when I'm doing my encapsulation because I feel like it really makes the colors underneath glow. So you guys take a look. So you can kind of see how that Mylar looks and how that color looks underneath there. But once you get that Build Pink on there, do you see how it really just kind of magnifies? Really magnifies all of that shine underneath there and just really makes it pop. So that's why I really like to use the Build Pink. You can definitely use the clear Sculptor. You can use just the regular build, whatever works for you. But when I'm doing encapsulation and working with glitters and the Mylar, I really feel like the Build Pink just adds a little extra layer of brightness to it, or kind of magnification. So I'm just kind of squeezing out a little bit of product as I work down the length of the nail. Just kind of dragging that product down the nail. And then I'm going to grab my brush again. Let me come back out a little bit here. And I use my brush to just kind of touch up around the edges, make sure that everything's kind of encapsulated on that edge, and make sure that my product isn't running or moving where I don't want it to go. So just kind of guiding that product back up into place. All right, you guys, I am loving this nail, but let's get that into the light. This one, I'm going to just cure for maybe about 10 to 20 seconds again. I could have used my touch cure light to kind of freeze that into place, but I do want to kind of check this nail. So I want to check it and make sure that it has proper structure to it. So again, just enough to kind of freeze that into place. And then let's take a look at this nail from the side view. All right, you guys, what do you think? Does that need more product? Yes, that definitely needs more product. You can see I've got kind of a dip right through here. I've got a little bit of thickness starting to come in here, but not a whole lot. So I actually do need to build up a little bit more structure, basically from my stress area through kind of that little dip down right in there. So what I'm going to do, let me grab my Build Pink again. I'm just going to do kind of a line of that gel right down the center of the nail, squeezing out a good amount. And then again, I'm going to grab my gel brush here. Oops, that's coming off the side. Get that back up on there. And I'm just kind of moving that product, just kind of maybe feathering out the edges of it, just so it kind of fills in that low spot and then gets right up to where I need. Oops, sorry guys. Gets right up into where I need it. Again, I'm going to hit that with the touch cure light because again, I want to freeze this, but I think I still need to add just a little bit more. But this was a quick way of stopping that product from moving and not letting it run down the sides. So just a quick freeze. And I still have just a little bit more right through here that I want to build up a little bit. So we'll come back here, squeeze out just a little bit more right through there. And this one, I'm just going to kind of feather down to the sides. I think that last application kind of got away from me as I was trying to get it into the light. But let's get this one set. And then we'll take one more look at that. I think this is going to be good now from our side view. Yep, that's looking much better. So now I can see that I've got my thickness right up by my cuticle area. This area right through here definitely has enough structure, and everything else is going to file out. So we're going to go ahead and get this into the light. We're going to get that in there for a full 60-second cure. So it's in the light, full 60-second cure. In the meantime, this is usually when I go through and I close up all of my products, kind of clean up my station a little bit, get my caps back onto everything, make sure I'm putting the right cap on the right jars, because this way you're going to have a nice clean station when you're filing, and you're not going to get any dust or anything into your colors or in your glitters or anything like that. So always go through, take a couple of seconds, get everything put away, get everything cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll be able to file our nail. So you guys, I also have my little ceramic tile here. A lot of people ask, how do I clean this off? It's super easy, you guys. All I do is I just take one of our table towels. You guys, I just cut the table towels up into smaller pieces so that they're easier for me to use. And then I'll just kind of fold that in half, grab a little bit of our onto the next polish remover, take a little bit of that, and that will wipe off the gel. Now, what are you guys noticing up here? I actually was kind of seeing this as I was using the Touch Cure light, but as I was using the Touch Cure light, I wasn't really being super cautious of where my tile was, and I know that that light started to kind of hit onto my tile. So it did cure that gel onto my tile, but it's not a big deal because you guys, these tiles are really easy to clean up. So if you do cure a little bit of gel on them, just grab either your spatula, or if you've got, let me see, oops, even your magic wand, just give it a quick little scrape. It does have a shiny surface, so that gel isn't going to stick to that shiny surface. So I know in one of my other videos, somebody was very concerned that I was curing my gel onto my tile. You guys, it's not a big deal. If you do cure gel onto your tile, it'll just clean right off quick and easy. So not a big deal. Easy peasy. All right, so our nail is fully cured in there. Let me grab my dust collector. And, all right, so we've got our dust collector. Let me come back there a little bit, get a better view for you guys. Okay, so our nail is cured out, but it does have a tacky layer of uncured gel on the top. So we want to make sure that we are grabbing our swipe, so you guys can see our swipe. Take a little pump of that onto your lint-free wipe. And we're going to go through and we're going to cleanse that nail. Now, you guys, as I work with my swipe cleansing off that tacky surface, notice that I don't push that all the way back up onto the skin. I maybe kind of do a little bit of a scrub. Let me show you this from the side. I do kind of a little bit of a scrub, but I don't push back onto the skin. That layer of uncured gel, or that tacky layer, is actually uncured gel. So you want to make sure that you're not getting that uncured gel on their finger. Come forward, pull that wipe forward, and then I also will fold that over and give it a second wipe. Don't pull your client's nail out, you guys, but it doesn't normally happen on a real person. But go through and wipe it a second time to really make sure that you're pulling off all of that uncured gel so that's not on their nail. Okay. All right, let's grab our file. Actually, you guys, I gotta close up my gels here so things don't leak. And we're going to grab our electric file. I'm going to switch my bit. I was using that sanding band to prep the nail. We're going to switch the bit to our X-Cut carbide. Okay, we're going to pop that one in, and we're going to turn our speed on our E-file to about 15,000 RPMs, about 15,000. You can go maybe just a hair lower because we're working with gel. Gel tends to file a little bit easier. So let's turn our dust collector on. Let me set my camera there. All right, so we're gonna do our coffin shape. So we're gonna start just like we always do with our sidewalls. I'm gonna straighten out our sidewalls. I'm just pulling my bit straight down. On the right side, I'm gonna push that straight back. We're gonna taper that in. So I know a lot of you are saying it looks too thick, it looks chunky, it looks like too much product, and you were right. You were right. I'll tell you freely, you were right. But when we're working, I'm going to do my filing and it's going to take all of that down. So that's why I don't worry too much if my product goes on a little bit thick. I'm going to file it down. I would rather have that structure into my nail with that product and then have to take a little bit more product down when I'm filing rather than having to add more after I've filed. Okay? All right, so for our coffin shape, so we did our sidewalls. Now, you guys, we have a stiletto going on here. If we're going to do our coffin shape, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little pressure into that free edge. So a little pressure with my bit, and then I'm going to come straight across. So left to right, straight across. Okay, so that's how we're going to square off that free edge. Okay, so really quick and easy to go from that stiletto shape to that coffin shape. Okay, all right, we're going to turn this nail on the side. And I'm going to work right up around the cuticle area. We're going to thin and taper out that cuticle. And I don't have a ton of work to do up there, so I'm just going to kind of go around maybe once or twice here, just thinning that out. Now, I do have more bulk right up through here, okay, which is good. We actually want that little bit of bulk in there. We want that arch. But I'm going to come through just down the middle of the nail. So right down the center of the nail. I'm not working all the way from side to side. Just down the center of the nail to really perfect that arch. So this is where Having that little bit of bulk is okay because we have product that we can file down into. If we just created a flat nail, there's no way we can create an arch out of a flat nail. So we have that bulk in there, but now we've got that arch structure. I'm going to look straight down the barrel of the nail here. And we're going to go through and we're going to just come down the edges to taper down those edges. Because you guys, I was telling you, I'm not going all the way across the nail. Now I'm just coming through those sides to take down that bulk. Okay? Just making contact, pulling my bit all the way through, all the way down that nail, tapering that in, contouring and rounding out that top surface all the way through. Okay? Now, I do tend to go back to that side view one more time just to really make sure that my arch is exactly where I want it. So sometimes you do have to kind of go back and forth, and that's okay. As long as you're creating that proper structure and that proper arch, you can go back and forth, not a problem. Okay? Just coming through there. I think everything is looking really good at this point. So I am going to switch back to my sanding band. Now, you don't have to do this, but I like to, just because I feel like I can refine the nail just a little bit more with that sanding band. And it's going to be less work with my hand file. Okay? I'm going to turn my speed down to about 7,000 RPMs and just go right through that same process that I just went through. So around my cuticle, tapering that all the way down to that natural nail. And you guys, with this bit, again, you can get nice and close into that cuticle area. It's a very gentle bit, so it's not going to cut that cuticle, but you can get a little bit closer in there than you can with that X-cut bit. So it's going to really help to kind of taper all the way down, get that product all the way flush down to that natural nail. Okay? Coming all the way through that arch again. We're going to turn, look down the barrel. And somebody's saying, can we smooth under the nail? You guys, we're not quite done with our filing yet, okay? We are going to go in with our hand file, and we are going to perfect everything. But I am just trying to do as much of my work with the electric file as possible to make it easier on my hands and my arms and my wrists. It's much easier to file with the electric file than it is by hand. So any last little bits that I can clean up, even back into this kind of corner area, anything that I can clean up with that electric file, I'm going to do, okay? Just to make sure that everything is as good as I can get it before I go to that hand file, okay? But at this point, I am going to go back to my hand file. I'm going to grab our 150 grit file. We're going to come in. Let me come out just a little bit here. And you guys, if you haven't already, if you're new to our channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, join our community, get all this great free education. So I'm going to go back to my perimeter. So again, my sidewalls. So I'm making sure that sidewall is nice and straight. I'm putting pressure with my file on the right, putting pressure with my thumb on the left. This way, it's going to help to keep that nail from wobbling back and forth. And I'm going to get that really nice straight sidewall. So you can see it's nice and straight on that side. Okay? We're going to do the same thing on the other side, balancing pressure on my right, pressure with my file on the left, straightening out that sidewall as well. Okay? We're going to maybe kind of clean up that free edge a little bit. I'm not going to spend a ton of time. We're going to go right to that lower arch, cleaning up that sidewall. Now I have just a little bit of product hanging down in the corner, but everything else is pretty good. So we're just going to line that file straight up in line with that finger so that that free edge is coming straight out from that finger. It's coming all the way from that cuticle area all the way straight out. Let me dust this off so you guys can see. Okay, so all the way straight out. There's just that little tiny little bit hanging down there. I'm going to get my my file right up in there. But again, you guys, make sure that you're keeping that file straight. You don't want to angle in and cut into that corner. So straight in line with that nail. Okay? Same thing on the other side. Rotate that client's finger, rotate their hand straight out on that lower arch. Do you guys still see I'm putting pressure on the top of that nail so that I'm not lifting up on that nail as I file? So that way, again, you're going to get that nice straight lower arch, and it's going to be very comfortable for your client. Okay? All right, we're gonna work right up around our cuticle area. We did some thinning and tapering, so I don't have a ton of work to do in that cuticle area. Just gonna come up around the sides now, contouring and rounding out those sides, because when we file straight like this, we almost put kind of a ledge on that side, or kind of a corner. So we want to round that out. So notice that as I file, I round up or I round down. I don't just file straight, okay? So even as I'm working and kind of moving my file a little faster, I do kind of work all the way down and all the way back up. Okay, so just rounding out those sides. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, rounding out those sides, making sure everything is nice and smooth and contoured. I'm going to turn my nail and look from the side view. I'm going to put pressure with my file at the free edge and pull that file back. This way, by putting pressure at the free edge, I'm going to thin and taper out that free edge so that my client has a nice thin free edge. Let me see if I can come in there. So she's got a nice thin free edge, so she's still going to be able to use her nails. You guys, sorry, there we go. Okay. Now we've got our basic structure in there. We've got our good shaping. I'm going to turn the hand around because I want to make sure that I'm seeing this nail from my client's perspective. Whoops, there we go. So I want to make sure that I can see exactly what she's going to see when she looks at her nails. So I'm going to look from this view, make sure everything is nice and straight, make sure everything is even. And this is where I'm really going to straighten out that free edge. So really make sure that that coffin shape is straight across. Now you guys, if you want more of a ballerina shape, you can kind of round out those corners a little bit. But you guys, the thing about shaping, everybody has a different idea what a shape should look like. And I always say that shaping is your signature. So when you're shaping your client's nails, if they come in and they say, I want coffin shaped nails, I would have them always show me a picture of what their interpretation of coffin nails are. Because again, everybody has a different idea of what a coffin shape should look like. Everybody has a different idea of what an almond should look like or a stiletto should look like. Your shaping is your signature. So make sure that you and your client are on the same page with what shape she wants. So again, somebody may look at this nail and say, well, that's not a coffin shape. But to me, this is a coffin shape, okay? So it's all about interpretation. So that's why it's super important to really communicate with your clients and find out exactly what shape they are looking for, okay? All right, so I think we've got our shape in there. I think we're good to go. Now, let's take a look at this, you guys. I was almost debating about putting a jewel on this, but I don't know if I want to cover up this design. But let's clean it off. We'll dust off that nail. Checking again, everything looks nice and even down the barrel. Everything's looking good. I'm going to use my swipe again, just like we were doing before. We'll cleanse that nail, and then you guys can tell me if you think we should add a jewel onto this or if we should just top coat. I think we should just top coat. All right, you guys let me know in the chat, but I think we should just top coat. But let's go ahead and get our protein bond on here. Jennifer says, don't cover the design, it's beautiful. I think you're right on that, Jennifer. But let's see. So when you put your protein bond on, that's going to give you a little bit of a hint as to what your design is going to look like. It's not going to completely magnify it. All right, you guys, a lot of you are saying no jewel. I think you're right on that. I think we should just top coat. But there is one tiny little area right up here. I don't know if you guys can see. You can see that it almost looks like it's missing color. I don't think I filed the color off. I just don't think I got quite enough color right up into that corner. So I'm going to add just a tiny little bit of color just to kind of touch up that corner. So I'm going to grab, let's see, what color do I want to add up in there? Maybe just a little bit more gold. So I'm just going to add a little more. I'm going to grab my micro detailer brush. We'll grab that gold. And you guys, this is a quick, easy trick. Sometimes you do need to touch up around the edges if you maybe overfiled or something like that. It's not a big deal. Just kind of touching in a little bit of that color right around that cuticle. Just kind of feathering that in, blending that in. Nobody's ever going to need to know, or nobody's ever going to know that you needed to touch that up if you blend that in really well. So we got that. Again, I'm going to grab that little touch cure light, turn that back on. Again, freeze that into place. And because the cream clays are so thin, they are going to be nice and smooth. I don't have to do any buffing or any more filing on this. We'll just freeze that into place, and then let's go ahead and top coat. So you guys, those of you that know the top coat chant, you can start that in the chat. Those of you that are new to our channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, join our community, and then you can join us in the top coat chant in the chat. So those of you that don't know what that means is, at this point, we just like to put top coat, top coat, top coat into the chat so that I know you guys are excited to see the final look. So let's start our chat. I'm going to grab my Ultimate Finish top coat, and we will go ahead and seal our design. You guys, when we do this top coat, you're really going to see all of that color just pop out. Look at that. You guys, I actually look at how the difference between that shine versus a matte finish. I almost want to do a matte finish, but I really like the shine on this. So you guys, you can decide if you want a matte finish on your nails. You can definitely do a matte finish. We actually have a beautiful matte top coat now. Again, I believe that is in our gel mystery box, but oh my gosh. All right, let me get this into the light. But we do have a great matte top coat now. It is a velvet kind of a look top coat. It is, it's a non-wipe top coat, so you don't have any tacky surface. I'm trying to find it, and I think it's over on my desk, so I don't have it here to show you guys. But that matte finish top coat is absolutely gorgeous. It's tack-free, so when you cure that out, there's no tacky surface to wipe off. Once it's cured, it's cured. And again, you guys, that is in the gel mystery box. All of the cream clays that I used today, these are all in that gel mystery box. The Touch Cure Light that I was using today, that is in the mystery box. I was gonna do a jewel on our nail because our tip and jewel adhesive is in the mystery box, and we have that whole entire collection of sparkle and shine nail jewels. You guys, let me show you that really quick. These are also in the gel mystery box. You guys, unfortunately, the acrylic mystery box is sold out. That's why I'm showing you the gel box, so I don't want you guys to miss out on all of the cool things in the gel box. So if you haven't gotten that already, all of these jewels are in there as a collection as well. So make sure you, if you haven't already, grab that gel mystery box. Let's take a final look at our beautiful, kind of a stone kind of a look today. Ah, kind of a marble. I love that. I love it. I love it. So let me come in really close here so you guys can see that beautiful color combination, that extra sparkle right on those silvers. Let me turn that around. Get you guys a different view of the nail. So again, you guys, if you haven't already, make sure, oh, that didn't look good. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you join our wonderful community here. Come back for all of the free education. We will be back. I believe we'll be back tomorrow. You guys, make sure to join us on TikTok as well. We've got all kinds of great education for you here. So make sure to subscribe and join us next time. You guys, thank you for being here. We will see you on our next live. Thanks, everyone.